it's about tools. This is about related technologies, and this is definitely a related technology. So it's about tools to share the vision of the future. It's geared towards people who are stakeholders. They might not even know the stakeholders, but you want to reach out to them. So very short. So to accept a new idea, there are few tools that are so efficient as when you visualize the idea. Words are great, but it's a lot of truth that an image speaks more than 1,000 words. And it's very important in communication with stakeholders. And you could say the less involved they are in the process, and you know they're affected by a process of a change or paradigm change or whatever, it's very important to communicate with them, because they are the first who's going to be the naysayers, the nimbus, and going to have protest groups or whatever you call it. And you need to communicate. It doesn't mean because you visualize it that it's going to get better, but at least you have a better way of communicating. But it's not only about those who doesn't know much, it's also about the people who are in the industry, like us here. It's important to have a tool that is common between different silos. We tend to end up in silos. One is doing control systems, one is doing vehicle design, another one is doing urban landscape, etc., etc. There are many different kind of stakeholders and silos and we need to break those silos. Not all of them, we can't do it always, all the time, but we need to move toward a more holistic view of what is actually we're trying to achieve. And this is very important, not only for external communication, but also within the stakeholders in this line of work and technology we use. So, gamification. I don't know how many of you heard about it, but it's basically based on games. Now, we are focusing on digital games, so shoot them up like Half-Life or I don't know, all the games out there. You can. Usually it's your kids who do that, but I think some of the students have been using these games. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you have. And they are pretty used to this. You use the keyboard and a screen and run around shooting things up or maybe being on a quest or something like that. And this is the basic technology we use at our company. It's called gamification technology. And this is the Wikipedia. I shortened it a little, a Wikipedia explanation of it, so it's actually quite a broad term. But if you want to look it up, just go to Wikipedia and learn about gamification. So how do you get involved? Well, we have services here in Sweden, in the United States. We're a partner in the United States, and we also have the UIDC. And you've seen all the UIDC contributions, the 5 this year, have all been using this technology as a part. It wasn't the main part, but it was a part of the visualization of the project. The paper was actually more important than the visualization, but it was a part of it. And yeah, I can talk a lot about that, but I'll just skip it. So I'll just go straight into a couple of examples. So I was with Matthew Lesh, I think it was in April this year in New Orleans. And there was a new vehicle called iCrystal. Did I spell that right? I'm not sure if I did. Yeah. What's the name of this company again? Transdev, thank you. So Transdev wanted to visualize their new vehicle, so they had a stand there. So we did that vehicle. Now this is just in a still image. Several of these. I'm going to go to a visual movie soon. But they wanted to have those visualized outside the convention center. So this is a copy, a visual copy or gamification, if you want, of that expo that this company had at that location. So one example of very simple use. This is a little more advanced, a ticketing system for a multimodal system in Uppsala here in Sweden. So simulation, you have a virtual pocket, you go to this machine and you actually have access to a mobile phone and can simulate how it would be to buy a ticket on the system. Here's another example, same study. In this case, is the people coming with the train into the station. They're going from the station and going up the stairs to the pod station and taking off from there. You could actually be part of this game and be on the train, get off the train and walk with the avatar and see how it would feel like. And then, of course, buy a ticket, as I showed before. Another example, this is also Matthew was involved in this. This is an example of an Ollie station, how that would look like in Washington, D.C., outside the former Department of Transportation or something, I think it was, or Energy or whatever. Yeah. So pretty close to Smithsonian. Yeah, that's a part of the solution there. It was a pod system going. Whatever happened to that, Matt? Did it ever materialize, this project? Okay, so they're going ahead. Okay. So it's going from basically the Smithsonian, or just outside the subway, and going down to the Potomac and the new major development down there. I assume that's still the same thing. Yeah. So this is a station design. This is an example for also Uppsala, but another area. You see the simulation prepared for the transportation. Yellow is cars, one path for them. The green are bus path. The blue is bikes, etc. We also have, you don't see it there on the other side, there are simulation preparations for people walking. It's a pretty advanced simulation. It has solar panels. We did a small energy analysis on the solar panels. It had a lot of vehicles. They were connected to a sensor, a virtual sensor. So if you stood, you went over the passage on the road, they would actually stop, so they wouldn't run you over. So it's a lot of simulation going into this just one model. Many different things happening at the same time. So what are the benefits of using this kind of gamification? Well, very, very basic. If you have a copy of a city or an area or campus or whatever somewhere in the world, if you have that copy and you have the opportunity to have an API or able to program or access it in any way, you can have quite a lot of perks with this. It's a lot of things you can do. Let's say you want to put in a pod system and you want to try that. So you have the model already made that is actually timed-based, so you can, it's a game. So you can put in that pod system and you can try it. You can have 3 different systems and compare them. You can even have the control systems of those pod systems externally and connected to the model. So if there's a capacity issue in the model, there would definitely be a capacity issue in the real life also. You can put on solar and you have a sun and shadow functionality, and you can make quite, not rudimentary, but working solar energy models as a part of it. Someone is going to put in new buildings. You have 2 different architects. They're competing about the same space. Well, you put in both those buildings in the same space. You put in a switch, A and B. You can see the 2 different buildings coming there. And you can people access this through web and vote on what building they think is the best option for them. You have sound. So you can put in, they want to have a new bike and pedestrian path to be introduced there. We put it in. How it's going to be, it's a lot of cars here. So how noisy it's going to be. So you can actually put in a sound barrier without sound barrier and compare how noisy it is, because the 4D world also has sound. This is something we're discussing internally right now at the company. A tricky crossing in a wheelchair. Let's experience how it would be sitting in one. We're actually planning to do a physical wheelchair. So you sit in the wheelchair, you move around with 3D glasses, and you will experience exactly the same problems as in real life. Because if there's a curb that's too high, you won't be able to pass it with a wheelchair. You're sitting actually on the same path, but be controlling the wheels, so stopping them if you're too close to something, like a car or curb or whatever. And basically giving people who have never been in a wheelchair the option to be in one and experience how difficult it is to go from home and go and buy, do some grocery shopping or whatever. So this is something we're working on and discussing right now. Or there are events. You want to cut out a piece of the, this is why we actually were in this is Antwerp, why we were in Antwerp. You want to cut off a piece or set aside a piece of land for an event, and you can play around with that and how you're going to solve the traffic flow, are you going to put the barriers, and you can try different kind of flows. There's a live view. If you have a smartphone, go to that link. I should have put a QR code there. I didn't think about that, but you can put it in manually. You should get a video, and if you turn it like this, you see? And the model will turn as you move the phone. Yeah. So what this is we exported the real 4D model into a VR 360 function into a YouTube video with VR. You can either put, if you have a VR headset, you can put it like this, and we see it in stereo. If you don't have, you can just do like this. Does it work for everyone? I can't guarantee the quality of your phones or the internet connection, but this should work. And this is an example how you distribute to stakeholders in a very easy way, because not all of them will have access to a gaming computer like I have here. So they will be in need of some kind of way to access the model, and the easiest way is to do it this way. So export everything into this VR video that you can actually move around in. You cannot change where you are in the model, but you can at least go. You can go around, you can stop it and look somewhere and continue. So the path is chosen, but the rest you can control yourself. That's about it. If you have questions about this, it's me and Aurora here from 4dialog that can answer questions afterwards if you want. If you want to get involved, do this either through one organization in Sweden, US, or you want to do this as a UIDC project with your local university, you're welcome. Thank you.